Hi, welcome to Grade 5, Module 5, Lesson 6 Review. Today, I will be reviewing how to find the total volume using multiplication. Remember, the formula for finding volume is length times width times height. Let's get started. Number 1 says, find the total volume of the figures and record your solution strategy. So number 1, in order to find the total volume, I need to find the volume of the two parts. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to label each box. The first box I'm going to label box A. The second box I'm going to label box B. To find the total volume, I have to find the volume of the two boxes and then put it together. So let's find the volume of box A. Remember, volume is length times width times height. So let's get started with the length. The length is marked 13 inches. My width is down here. It's not labeled, but if I go down to box B, the width of box B is the same. So it's going to be 2 inches. And my height is 2 inches. So I have 13 times 2 times 2. I'm going to make my multiplication sentence a little bit easier. So I am going to multiply the 2 times 2 first. That will give me 13 times 4. So now I'm going to do 13 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So my volume is 52 inches cubed. Remember, it's cubed because I have 3 units. So that was for part A. Now let's find the volume for part B. Part B, we have to again start with our length. Our length is 5 inches. Our width is marked 2 inches. And our height is not labeled, but if you take a look at this end, they're telling me that the whole height of both of these boxes is 4. Well, if the height of A is 2, take away the 2 leaves me with 2 for the height of letter B. So the height of letter B would also be 2 inches. And again, I got that because if the whole height is 4, and A is already 2 inches high, if we do 4 minus 2, that would give me the 2 inches for my height for letter B. Okay, so now I can go ahead and do my multiplication. I'm going to do the 5 times 2 is 10. That leaves me with 10 times 2. So my volume is equal to 20 inches cubed. So my volume is equal to the 52 inches cubed from part A plus my 20 inches cubed from part B. So if I put those two down here, let's do the computation. 2 plus 0 is 2, and 5 plus 2 is 7. So my total volume for the whole box is 72 inches cubed. That is my total volume. So I did it by breaking the two boxes up into two parts. Okay, we're going to try this again. This time we're going to be doing 3 boxes. It's the same thing, just you have to do more calculations. So let's take a look. We have 3 boxes this time. So I am going to label them box A, box B, and box C. So first we have to find the volume of each box, and then put it all together to find my total volume. So let's go ahead with the volume of box A. Volume, length, times width, times height. So my length, as you can see, is labeled 6 millimeters. So I have 6 millimeters times. Now my width is right here. It's not labeled on this box, but if I go all the way down to box C, the width for all three of these boxes are all the same. And if box C has a width of 3 millimeters, box A is the same. So this would be 3 milliliters. And then my height, how tall it is labeled right here. It's 4 milliliters. So it would be 4 millimeters. So all that's left for me to do is to multiply. I'm going to make my multiplication a little bit simpler. So I'm going to do the 3 times the 4 first. So that will leave me with 6 times 12. Now, if you know your multiplication facts, 6 times 12 is 72. But if I don't know that mentally, could do it over here on the side. We could do 12 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So my volume for box A is 72 millimeters cubed. Okay, let's go on to box B. Now, box B is a little bit tricky. So the first thing they want us to do is to find my volume. Now, if you look, my volume is this total side right here. But they didn't label that whole side. They only labeled part of it. And they told me that this part is 5. But I know from box A that's sitting right on top of it that the length of box A was 6. So if I add my 6 and my 5, if I put those together, my 6 and my 5, 6 plus 5, that's this piece plus this piece. If I put them together, my length is 11 millimeters. My width is still 3, because remember the 3 is the same for all of them, the 3 millimeters. And then my height is 4 millimeters. So my formula, 11 times 3 times 4. I'm going to go ahead and do 11 times 3 is 33, and then I have to do 33 times 4. So to find my volume, 33 times 4, 4 times 3 is 12, carry my 1, 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 13, so my volume is 132 millimeters cubed for box B. And now I have to go down and figure out my volume for box C. My length is down here. It's labeled a 3. My width, we've already know, is 3 millimeters. And my height this time is 5 millimeters. So when I go to multiply these, I am going to do the 3 times 3 is 9, and then I have 9 times 5 left, so my volume is 45 millimeters cubed. So I have my 3 volumes for my boxes. I have 72 millimeters cubed plus 132 millimeters cubed plus 45 millimeters cubed. To find the total, I am going to take these 3. I'm going to set them over to the side here. So I have 72. I have 132. and 45. Make sure you line them up. So I have 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 5 is 9. I have 7 plus 3 is 10, and 10 plus 4 is 14, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. So my volume is equal to 249 millimeters cubed. That was a lot of work, but as you see, all we did is we used the same formula all the way through. We found the volume for each box first, and then we put it all together. Okay, so that was 1C. And now we are going to try a word problem. The word problem that I'm going to do is question number 1. You find that in your packet. And the question says, Ren wants to put some artwork into 3 shadow boxes. She knows they all need a volume of 60 cubic inches, but she wants them all to be different. Show 3 different ways Ren can make these boxes by drawing diagrams and labeling the measurements. So, carefully going through the question again, it says she needs the volume of 60 cubic inches, and she wants them all to be different. I have to show 3 ways to have a volume of 60 cubic inches. So my volume has to be 60 cubic inches. Show 3 different ways. Now, because I have 60 already given to me as a volume, that means that I need to find 3 numbers that when multiplied together will give me 60. So I have to find my factors of 60 to help me with this. So what is a factor? A factor is a number times a number that will give me 60. So let's think. What possible factors does 60 have? 60 has a lot, but we only need 3. So let's start off with an easy one. I know that 60 ends in a 0. And I know that all my times table facts of 10 end in a 0. So then I can do what 2 numbers would give me 60 if one of them is 10. So I could have 10 times 6. 10 times 6 gives me 60. So I could use those 2 factors. Now let's think of another pair because we need 3. Well, I know it ends in a 0, and if I think of my multiplication again, any number for the product, any number for 5 ends in a 0 or a 5. So any multiple of 5 ends in a 0 or a 5. So then I know 5 would go into 60 evenly. So let's see. If I do 60 divided by 5, 5 fits into 6 one time. 6 minus 5 is 1, and 5 goes into 10 twice. So yes, 5 times 12 is also 60. So far I have 10 times 6. I also have 5 times 12, and I need one more. Well, I know this also, again, ends in 0, so it's an even number. But I also know that 2 times 3 is 6. Well, if 2 times 3 is 6, how can I make this equal 60? Well, if I multiply the 3 by 10 and make it 30, 2 times 3 is 6, and add a 0 would be 60. So there are my 3 different ways to show 60. Now I have to show the volume and draw the picture box. So volume is equal to the length times the width times the height. So if I use this first factor, 10 times 6, 10 times 6 is only 2 numbers. Volume needs 3 numbers. So I could do this 2 ways. I could leave the 10 alone, and I'm going to take the 6 and break it up into 2 more factors. What 2 numbers give me 6? Well, I have 2 times 3 is 6. So if I take that 6 and break it up into 2 times 3, I still have 2 times 3 equals 6. But now I have my 3, my length, my width, and my height for my shadow box. I have my 3 units, and when I multiply them together, let's see, 10 times 2 is 20, and 20 times 3 is 60. So this does work. This does turn out to be 60 cubic inches, but now I have to draw my picture. So my length, so I'm going to draw my box. They're telling me that my length is 10 cubic inches, 10 inches. My width is 2 inches, and my height is 3 inches. So if I multiply 10 times 2 times 3, this will give me a volume of 60 cubic inches. So that one works. Let's go on to box B. Box B, my second factors that I had was 5 times 12. We're going to do the same thing. Volume is equal to the length times the width times the height. Well, if I'm going to use 5 times 12, remember we need 3 units. I only have 2. So I'm going to take the 12 and break up the 12 into 2 factors. So my volume would be 5 times, so what can I break up the 12 into? 12 again has a lot of factors. I'm going to do 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to break up this 12 into 3 times 4, and I'm going to put it down here into 3 times 4. So as you can see, I still have 3 times 4 times 5. So if I multiply all 3 of these together, I have 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. And then I have to do 15 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Put down the 0, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So this does give me 60 inches cubed. So that's all that's left for me to do is to draw my model. And my model says that this time my length is 5 inches. My width is 3 inches, and my height here is 4 inches. And if I multiply 5 times 3 times 4, I do get 60 inches. So that one works. And in this last one, my shadow box, I was going to use 2 times 30. So let's again bring down our formula. Our length times our width times our height. My length here, we're going to do 2. Now we have to break up 30 into 2 factors. 30 has a lot of factors. I could do 2 times 15. I could do 6 times 5. I could do 1 times 30. I'm going to use the 6 times 5. So I broke up the 30 into 2 factors. 6 times 5, 5 times 6. So the 30 was broken down into 5 times 6. So now I have my 3 units for my volume. And I'm going to multiply 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 6 is 60. 60 inches cubed. So all 3 of these give me my 60 inches. I just had to find my factors. And once I found my factors, I had to take the biggest number and break that down into 2 more factors because volume, remember, you needed 3 units. So that's why we broke it down. So let's draw our last picture for letter C. Letter C says that I had, let's put it over here. My length was 2 inches. My width is 5 inches. And my height was 6 inches. So if I multiplied 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 6 was 60 inches. So those were 3 different ways to get 60 cubic inches. Thanks for listening. I hope this helped. I want you to finish the rest of the review page, then take a picture, send it to your teacher so that we can see how you're doing. Bye for now.